in North Hollywood. And this is exactly what they looked like. This is what they were wearing. We've outfitted 2 mannequins so that people can see what they look like.
10 officers were injured in the North Hollywood shootout. The suspects were killed. Their bullet-riddled vehicle also parked at the museum.
And he was crouched down in front of this car, shooting at the officers who were located behind his car.
Right here.
Right here.
For anyone who's into LAPD history, or the history of Los Angeles for that matter, it would be criminal for you not to show up and visit this place. The museum is open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Monday through Friday. In Highland Park, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Besides being open on weekdays, the museum is also open every third weekend of the month. It's located at 6045 York Boulevard in Highland Park. A one-on-one with the woman who helps bring some of our most creative cultural events to the city. Rasha Goel has more on what has been her inspiration for success.
Have you ever noticed all the different cultural events that take place in Los Angeles? Well, there are over 1,300 actual events per year that serve 3 million people, all under the leadership of Danielle Brazel. Meet Danielle Brazel, General Manager of the city's Department of Cultural Affairs, a department that oversees many of the city's cultural activities and festivals, grants to artists, operates historic sites such as the Watts Towers, and much more. It was Brazel's artistic talents and experience that caught Mayor Eric Garcetti's eye. Danielle, you were appointed by Mayor Eric Garcetti in 2014 as the General Manager of the Department of Cultural Affairs. What has led up to this opportunity?
I started my career as an artist, and then as a teaching artist, and then as a producer, and then as an administrator, and then I moved into public policy, and those are really the core aspects of what you need to understand and what you need to be a general manager of a city department.
Brazel grew up in the San Fernando Valley and graduated from Grover Cleveland High School, but she didn't have it easy.
In middle school, there was, again, a lot of chaos in my life. The house burned down. We were homeless for a while. My mom was in and out of the hospital. My father wasn't around. My sister was in and out of treatment and placement. And so the instability of my home life really shifted my focus. And so by the time I was in 9th grade, I had already dropped out. And so my academic career and my studies really suffered. I was really a smart and bright kid, but there was some extenuating circumstances.
Thanks to a friend who introduced her to a drama class, Brazel's life took a different turn. It was meeting with drama teacher Barbara Yannick that would impact Brazel for the rest of her life.
I was very scared, and I said, "My name is Danielle," and she put out her hand, looked me in the eye, and said, "Hello, Danielle, my name is Barbara." And it was the first time I had ever had a teacher look at me like a human being, take me in, give me respect. And then she immediately handed me her big wad of keys and asked me to go get her the slide projector, which of course I did, right, in the stage area. What was so extraordinary about that moment is she gave me the opportunity to be trusted, and I was hers. So from that day on, drama became very much my life.
Art has been an inspiration throughout her life. Today, she's excited to share her passion to help foster creativity in the city.
They create a sense of belonging. They inspire us. They connect us. They connect communities and people. They generate empathy for otherness in a way, and they create belonging. And so I like to say that the Department of Cultural Affairs is the city's belonging strategy.
From the Towers Day Drum Festival to the LA Opera, there's almost something for everyone in the City of Angels when it comes to the Department of Cultural Affairs. But an important aspect is promoting art and making it accessible for everyone.
We have 32 cultural facilities, from Barnsdall Art Park down to Watts Towers. Almost every corner of our city has a community art center Most of the time, those centers are providing arts education to communities that would otherwise not have access to arts education.
For young girls who are watching this, who may have been in a similar situation as you, what advice would you give to them?
Write. Write in your journal each and every day, and keep writing and keep telling the truth even if your voice shakes.
A piece of advice that perhaps could benefit all of us. In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
For more information on events put on by the Department of Cultural Affairs, visit culturela.org/events. Once a year, tens of thousands of people from every corner of the city converge in South LA for the Central Avenue Jazz Festival. This year brought together both old traditions and some new ones. Anna Marcos has more.
Central Avenue came alive with the cool and hot sounds of every kind of jazz ever improvised, syncopated, or strummed into existence. The 23rd annual Central Avenue Jazz Festival lit up several blocks of Central Avenue in South LA.
I have come here a number of years, watching people not come back, like Gerald Wilson. He was one of my favorites.
The place does seem to draw people back year after year.
I've been coming here since the inception, and it has grown quite a bit.
And there were plenty of new things this year as the Jazz Festival has continued to expand. Drumming lessons made their grand debut for anyone with Buddy Rich aspirations, or anyone who just wanted to learn to play along to the beat.
First of all, I think it just underscores the importance of arts in our community, whether it's dancing, music, spoken word, the arts. It changes the perception that people have about their community. The arts makes them feel positive, more productive, more collaborative.
A business and job pavilion, a youth pavilion for the young uns, an arts pavilion, yummy food, street soccer. It was a one-stop feel-good shop for everyone. An oasis of fun and good times that couldn't help but get musical juices flowing, feet tapping, and bodies moving. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
And best of all, the festival was free. It's a salute to the trains and railroads of California and a chance for Metro to toot its own horn. Thousands attended the Union Station's annual Train Fest.
20,000 die-hard train lovers hopped on board for the second annual Union Station Summer Train Fest. Some came from as far as Corona or places beyond.
Oh yeah, I've loved trains all my life. I had trains when I was little, and I think it's exciting. We brought some friends with us, and they love trains, and we came here on a train.
The theme this year, Dreams in Motion, showcased restored and antique locomotive engines and cars, especially those from the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
We like train travel. We've enjoyed several long train trips, and so we decided to come here and check out the Rail Fest.
And I enjoyed seeing the California Zephyr.
Why?
Because it's a big, shiny train.
Big, beautiful train, huh?
But it was the tiny tracks and little trains that fascinated some people. And there were plenty of model trains to choose from, complete with bridges, towns, and even a tight situation or two.
It's just a really fun event. You can see the kids here having a great time.
Virtual reality train rides and kids' activities, including a tank engine play area, made for a heck of a ride through Trainland, past, present, and future. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
A new report says the city of LA needs to improve its hiring practices. The Department of Rec and Parks gets $1 million grant, and it's not too late to teach your kids to swim. All these stories in City Beat. A new report says the city of Los Angeles needs to modernize its hiring practices and do more to recruit women. City Controller Ron Galperin found that the civil service hiring process takes an average of more than 7 months to complete. He also says the city's workforce doesn't represent the gender breakdown of Los Angeles, where women are half the population, but just 35% of the city's workforce. Galperin said that the ability of our city to serve our residents, businesses, and visitors depends first and foremost on attracting and retaining the very best people to work for our city departments. The City of Los Angeles Department of Recreation and Parks was awarded a $1.3 million Fire, Urban, and Community Forestry Program grant. These funds will go toward the City of Los Angeles park tree inventory, tree planting, and education. Rec and Parks will develop a comprehensive park tree inventory system and work with community partners to engage local communities through public tree planting events and tree care educational workshops. There will also be workforce and job training opportunities for low-income youth in tree education. You can still get your kids swimming this summer. Mayor Eric Garcetti has set a goal to create a healthier Los Angeles by offering more health and wellness activities for LA kids. This includes increasing participation in sports and recreation, starting with Swim LA, because every child deserves the opportunity to learn how to swim. Swim LA creates a safer and healthier Los Angeles by teaching kids to swim, reducing the risk of drowning, and increasing water safety education. Scholarships are available to those that demonstrate financial need. To find a pool closest to you, visit swimla.org. Well, it's a way to drum up business and give Angelenos a taste of Asian cooking and culture. Anna Marcos takes us to the delicious Little Tokyo event as it kicked off a busy weekend.
The Far East flavor was on full display and business was booming. As Little Tokyo kicked off its delicious Little Tokyo event, 2 days of exotic food tasting, cooking lessons, and more.
We've partnered with a lot of the businesses to do workshops and demos, tours, and tastings to provide a unique experience for people.
And even though it was in Little Tokyo, this Oriental smorgasbord was not limited to Japanese food. This Indonesian restaurant provided some of the culinary action. And for those who like to eat, drink, and be merry, this sake bar gave you sake any way you like it. Hot sake, warm sake, draft sake, by the glass or from a dispenser, and of course, sake with food. There were even lessons on what sake goes with what tasty delicacy.
The third item is going to be a miso baby back rib that we're pairing with a Boulder sake. The miso ribs are going to have a saltiness and an umami character to it.
I didn't understand all of that, but I heard miso baby back ribs and sake.
If our customers come in and they're able to learn something about sake and pairings, and, then their whole experience is, it has been enhanced. And we feel that they will come back time and time again.
A lot of Asian deliciousness plus a little boost for business made delicious Little Tokyo a winning recipe. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The event was organized by Go Little Tokyo, a community-led effort to highlight the unique culture of the neighborhood. Dozens of restaurants and businesses took part. Well, grab your pajamas for a slumber party under the stars. They're not the Eagles, but they sure sound a lot like them. Watch them perform at Warner Center Park and enjoy the works of Mexican artist Frida Kahlo. All this in this week's Things to Do. It's Double Double, Toil and Trouble, and then some with witches all night long. The summer tradition is back with Cinespia's 8th annual slumber party, so assemble your crew for a night that's wicked and wondrous in all the right ways. The event begins with the movie The Craft. Then at midnight, it's time for some practical magic, starring Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. And at 2 a.m., the Witches of Eastwick caps the night. Cher, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Susan Sarandon, who unite to wreak delicious havoc on Little Devil Jack Nicholson to teach him a lesson he'll never forget. Magic fills Hollywood forever with a specially conjured photo booth. All the fun takes place Saturday, August 11th, starting at 7 p.m. at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Since their debut in 1999, the long-run experience The Eagles has earned its place among the top-drawing tribute acts in North America and is widely regarded as the finest Eagles tribute show working today. Their 90-minute live concert for the hit TV show The World's Greatest Tribute Bands was broadcast to millions of viewers over 5 countries and received some of the highest ratings in the series' history. Marked by lush vocal harmonies and exceptional musical accuracy, every TLR performance delivers a reverence for the beloved Eagles studio recordings blended with the long run's own live concert personality. Watch them perform on Sunday, August 12th at the Warner Center Park. Frida Kahlo Under the Stars comes to La Plaza y Cultura y Artes in downtown LA on Saturday, August 11th for an evening dedicated to this iconic Mexican artist. Featuring a fully illustrated lecture, this event caters to Frida fans. Check out a kaleidoscope portrait of Frida with more than 300 slides of her paintings and documentary photographs, as well as rare film footage. This exhibition is presented by Gregorio Luque, an expert on Mexican and Latin American art and culture. The exhibit runs August 11th from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacitywiew.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
City Hall, the Los Angeles City Council. This council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Mr. Clerk, we do have a quorum. Would you call the roll?
Blumenfield, Bono, Buscaino, Cedillo, Engler, Harris, Sasson, Weezer, Kress, Corinne, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rodriguez, Rue, Wesson, 10 members present and a quorum. Mr. President.
Thank you. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Koretz moves, Cedillo seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Bonin moves, Buscaino seconds. Next.
Mr. President, items 1 through 6 are items noticed for public hearing. After taking cards, if any, and there is a request from the Bureau of Street Lighting to receive and file item 1, inasmuch as there was a typo in the reported project size and the Prop 218 process needs to be reinitiated.
Okay, that's fine. Continue.
Mr. President, there are cards on all items.
Continue. We'll hold those.
Items 7 through 27 are items for which public hearings have been held. Committee reports for items 7 and 22 have been posted and circulated for council's consideration.
Okay, let's vote on those items. Members, if the clerk would please open the roll. Hold on one second, Mr. Buscaino.
Do we have cards on 26, Mr. President? I know the public hearing has been satisfied.
Let's hold.
But I do know we have members here from the community.
Let's hold item 26.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr.
So
President.
we'll vote on, and 23 I'm told as well. So we'll hold 23 and 26. We'll vote on the remaining items. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
And Mr. President, there are requests to send items 8, 9, 10, and 11 forthwith, sir.
So ordered.
That brings
Mr.
us
Blumenfield. Okay.
That brings us to items 28 through 33. There are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. Do you have cards?
Mr. President, cards on all items.
Okay, that brings us where?
That takes council to presentations, items called special, or public comment for items not on council's
Okay,
agenda.
sergeants, could you free up the public comment section? Okay, Mr. Herman, we're going to have you first up. You're going to start off today. You've got items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and then your general public comment. The floor is yours.
Go ahead. All right, I'll do the first one. So you see on item 29 in CD6, the representation of who other than the grandma of CD6, Ms. Martinez, effective communication from the Bureau of Street Lighting. But I am the light barrier, so called to be. I come in the presence of light to your district to adopt and report to the director of bureaus that we have a safe neighborhood now. You see, when the puppet master's correct, he speaks correctly. Am I right, Mr. Fauble? And item 30, another CD6, not to mention the bright colors and the bright astray of dress. But let me address to the present and adopt for October 10th, 2018 as a hearing date. It sounds as though I'm rhyming in my time in my menace of demise. But to no crime at all have I found a physical impact statement to report. For $1 million will we all collect and annually start with the tax year of 2018 to 2019. No one gives a fuck. But that will go into the archives dedicated for the fucking street lighting maintenance. For I am the assessor of light, like Christ, like God, and to the bullshit of this city hall. For I am the Board of Public Works hearing God, not that of Saturn or Mars. Then I go into the other items of this fucking corrupted city's agenda. 31, from the Chief Legislative Analyst regarding a subject of concurrence of our absent mayor, who wants you to vote for him on action in pursuit to a resolution by Peppa Pig. Oink, oink. As you see, Peppa Pig bows to me because I am the light chair of this council. I am the Hugo S. Rossiter of this legislative
I think
body.
we've veered off the topic, Mr. Herman.
Rules and elections of intergovernment relations. I am the committee chair, and I waive no consideration, not even to Hugo S. Rossiter, who sent me personally a letter from his office. Thank you, asshole. Now into my general public comment.
Let's give him his general public
Do it,
comment.
baby, do it.
As you already know, most of the time when I come to these meetings, I'm thrown out. Personally, I find that offensive because of my mental health under the PTSD when I suffered a war. Yeah, I was in a war, and the motherfuckers made me sick. So when I look at Mr. Weezer, the drunk, you can't compare the drunk asshole to me. Nor can you ask the pig over there, Mr. Koretz, who grabbed my arm back some time ago here at the podium and said, oink, 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 Peppa Pig. And then I go back to Mommy. Yeah, Mommy looked pretty flashy in that bright colored dress. I'm surprised hippopotamus don't work.
Thank you, Mr. Herman. Mr. Spindler, come forward. You have items 1 through 6. Then you have 26, 28, 29. And then you have 30 through 33. So please come forward.
What the? Wait a minute. I thought you were here. I snuck in your car, asshole. Just talk. Okay, all right. Okay. Yeah, so item 1 has been received and filed for legal deficiency. Thank you. Item 2 is a lien from Paul the Goat Krikorian. I'm sorry, because I'm a goat, I support it. What? Traitor? Yeah, okay. Number 3 is a Gil Cedillo item, peace treaty. Yes, so we would ask that all the ballots be counted. We will defer to Mr. Cedillo on item 3. Yeah, good job. Item 4 is CD4, the rapist rule. Yes, we don't like that. No on item 4, no. Item 5 is CD10, that's the chair. You have to recuse yourself, Mr. Wesson, from voting on item number 5. Otherwise, fuck item 5, yes. Item 6, that deals with our other mommy. Yes, item 6, Mommy Monica Rodriguez. Mommy, no, Mommy. No more liens on CD number 6. Mommy, you're charging the taxpayers in the 7th District too much fucking money for lights. You can get FBI matching grants for all the criminal behavior and prostitution, Mommy Monica. Mommy Monica, you're a pimp. Mommy Monica, stop charging homeowners for all your fucking lights. Get more cops up there. Enforce the law. You crazy psychopath. Thank you. You're welcome. Now, let's get done. Another one from the 2nd District, item 28. Fuck item 28. I don't want to read it. Number 29. Nuri Martinez. Shame on you. 29 and 30. You're doing what Mommy Monica does. You have a lot of crime in these areas, so you need more lighting. And rather than get matching grants from Homeland Security for security lights, you're charging the fucking homeowners to put in lights for a crime you don't take care of because you don't put enough cops on the beat in those areas. I know these areas. I have walked in those areas, and they fucking are crime-ridden with prostitutes and drugs and homeless encampments, even fires and garbage cans. This is horrible. The fucking ghetto. No Have the city pay for it, not these honest homeowners.
Let's give him his minute for general public comment. Mr. Spindler, go ahead.
Okay. So I've heard there's been a peace offering. There has been an offer of peace today, and that can be done. And all you have to do is admit that the whole thing was Mike Fewer's doing. You were taken in by Hugo Rossiter, Mike Fewer, and Stefan Fabel given bad legal advice. And you were allowed to basically blackmail an immigration attorney, and it failed. The FBI's investigating, and all of this stuff is swirling all over the fucking place. Who spent $300,000 on the wedding? But I'm going to say this, and I don't agree with this man all the time. Mark Ridley Thomas is being fucking set up by this council, and I'm sick of it. Mark Ridley Thomas, if you're listening, we support you.
Thank you. Ms. McAllister, are you still here? Come on down. You've got items 31, 33, and then your general public comment. So we'll give you 2 minutes, and then we'll go into general public comment. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. President. I must say first that you do have the support of the black community, the native black community. Number 31, the city wants to agree with a treaty on the prohibition of nuclear weapons. I don't think we should have nuclear weapons either, but if the United States gives up its nuclear weapons, Israel must give up its, okay? We're not going to let these Jews be the only one on this planet with nuclear weapons, all right? So we can forget about that because I don't think they're going to give up their nuclear weapons. 33, now I see that you're now accepting donations or contributions from, quote, applicants, no name. I want to know who's giving the money. And this just started this week. Applicants. What applicants? Are they terrorist organizations? Who are they? Illegal aliens? Who's giving the money? Here you're accepting $250,000 for some signage for the soccer stadium. We need a stadium like we need some of you holding the head or something like that. You know, just a cliche. Just a cliche. We don't need a stadium. I was driving this morning, and the police, these people have been living on the street in this certain area for a long time. I've been seeing them. The police arresting them, had them all up against the wall, even the women. They sleep there. They have their little tarp and all that. Now you're arresting the homeless. Okay, so this is ridiculous. We don't need a stadium. You're spending billions of dollars, and who plays soccer? That's not an American sport. That's either illegal aliens. So we're going to build a stadium so they can play soccer? This is nonsense. We have a homeless problem, and all of these agendas, I look at the agendas even when I'm not here. You haven't mentioned that $1.2 billion for housing. Everything you talk about except this housing you're supposed to be building. We want the people of this city to stay on this mayor, and just like Vera Rugosa's career is over, Mayor Garcetti's career is over. It's over. He'll never be elected again.
Now let me give you, let's go ahead, Ms. McAllister.
Okay, my public comment. Now remember I told you I got the list of 500 attorneys when the budget said there's 800. We've got some discrepancies already. I found them as attorneys. Now it's funny that you've got the women listed as the highest paid attorneys. That's really, now we have an attorney, her name is Attorney Noreen, okay? And here, she's supposed to be making like, I don't know, tons of money. But we can't find her listed because the city says she has more years than what she's been here. Her bar association number is 102935. The city says she's been an attorney for 44 years, but she's only been on the bar 36 years. She's making $259,000. ZNA Houston, she's not even listed with the bar. She's making $259,000. Anita Avakian at $295,095. They say that she's been with the city 8 years, and she's only been with the bar 5 years.
Thank
so
you.
I'm going to have more of this. I see.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Previn, I saw you earlier. Items 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Mr. Previn, we're going to take testimony on 26, so I want you to know if you want to speak on that item you can. 28, 30, 31, 32, 33, and then your general. Floor is
Right.
yours.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a little comment on 26 right away. You're looking at places to do crisis and bridge housing in a couple of the districts. I noticed that, so good work, and also some storage. Several little items that are being you're moving the ball forward there. So great work. Item number 32, you're appointing O'Farrell as the head cheerleader for the city's convention coming up. And he is going to be backed up by an excellent cheerleader herself, Rodriguez. So we're going to have a 1-2 punch in the event that somebody has to make an official statement. And no disrespect to Buscaino, who was last year's backup guy. We thought he was being moved into front position for this season, but he's got a lot on his plate down in the port. And certainly Bonin has a terrific $2.4 billion bond offering today, which looks fantastic. And if any of those groups, Barclays, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, PNC, who I'm good friends with, and some of the other big, including Samuel Ramirez, those underwriters want to help out with some of the costs of this homeless stuff. No problem, sir, because we are appreciating all the work out at the airport, and we do appreciate certainly Mr. Price's efforts down at the soccer stadium. But it does require a little bit of scrutiny, because what he did was he referred to the $250,000 payment, but then there are two there, one at the very beginning and one a little later as for the process. So we need to know, is it the first one or the second one? Because this is like a daily double. We'll remember when Englander was bringing forward the Isaac Larian project for 660 market rate units, not a single affordable, and the folks negotiating for the public put $100,000 here and $100,000 there, and Mr. Englander went, woo, $100,000. And we went, wait, $100,000 is missing, and we had to circle down into the plan. It's very complicated, sir. Let's try to be forthright. Now, item 31, I have to thank Mr. Koretz, who I'm constantly thanking, it turns out. The man is in the media night and day, but he's reaching out, along with Bonin, to hold the line on nuclear war. Now, certainly this is a great idea. Nobody wants a nuclear war. Now, there is an aspect of it, as I looked at it closely, that seems to be siding up against the president, who's admittedly doing some very unusual styles of negotiation, like meeting with the guy in North Korea, and I think Putin. All this stuff is great, but how is it our business while we have people lying all over the place, needing our support, needing you out there in the parking lots, getting things squared away? And by the way, a measure of gratitude for Mr. Ridley Thomas, who's been taking a little bit of criticism for the $100,000 donation made virtually to his son through the scandal factory at USC. But he did yesterday, along with Sheila Kuehl, bring out yet another effort to repackage the safer parking thing with a little bit of teeth in it this time. It looks like they've got something over at the county that's like Hope. It's called Host. So it's also friendly, but it's got a power washer and a incarcerator right behind it. So we're looking forward to see how that goes. We're hoping that there's a measure of integrity there, because the money, they got some money to buy off motor homes that need servicing.
Okay,
It's bad.
Let's
Okay,
give
the general
Mr.
public comment. Sure.
Previn his minute for general. Go ahead, sir.
Sure. General public comment, it's hard not to say something about the California fires. We are facing an extraordinary period in our history, and I just want to call out the 5,000 regular CAL FIRE people. There's 1,700, I think, part-time, and then we've got 2,500 or something National Guard out there today, sir. It's unbelievable how hard things are burning out there and how much we feel it. We feel it because we know that we could be next. So any fire prevention ideas you have would be a great time to bring them out now. And finally, it's like a little poem. Back east, they have a tick problem, and for years people try to get rid of the possums, but now the possums are the things that get the ticks. So this is a great story in a way, and we should think about that in various ways, because what used to be the scourge of society are actually helping keep people alive now, and I think that that's a metaphor that we can all bend to our various needs. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Walsh, are you still here? Mr. Walsh, you have 1 through 6, and then 28, 29, 30 through 33. So please come forward, Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh, HollywoodHighlands.org. As far as the agenda is concerned, it's a typical agenda. The important things don't happen in front of everybody. they happen in the back room. A lot on lighting. Lighting, incidentally, I've always spoken well of your lighting, but there's just been an incredible amount of lights. The whole lighting system is falling apart. I don't have to ask anyone. The lights, the red lights, the green lights, everything, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And you can tell by the number of people who are hit and run. This is incidentally the hit and run capital of the world, Hollywood. And I'm telling you right now that HollywoodHighlands.org, I'll go into my minute.
Alan, could you give him his 1 minute?
Okay. Herb, yesterday I spoke in front of the supervisors, and when I finished speaking, Mark Lily Thomas went like this, because what I said was that Herb Wesson is out to get him. They're trying to get they're trying to get Mark Lily Thomas to resign. Then Herb Wesson runs for that seat, and then Wesson's son, Junior Wesson, runs for Herb's seat. It's all set up, and everybody knows about it at the Times. Of course, the Times has left town. That building of theirs, the Times Tower, is now a ghost town. I'm telling you right now that HollywoodHighlands.org is the only place you're going to find out what's happening. The story, they've got the federal government investigating Herb Wesson. And I saw the story in the Times. For what? There's no mention in the article for being black.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Thank you. Okay, that closes our multiple comment section for today. Mr. Blumenfield, for a quick introduction.
Yeah, I wanted to make a special introduction. In fact, why don't you guys stand up? I want to introduce the 20 exceptional students, engineers, and architects that are part of an 11-week summer internship program. Yeah. This is a new program that was launched by BOE. It's an 11-week internship program, and it started on July 5th. They had over 300 applicants for this, and you 20 were the college students who were chosen. You're all majoring in engineering and architecture, and the idea of this is you get a hands-on experience with BOE, and you're able to understand what we go through. And I'm also proud to say 70% of these college interns are women, which is exciting in BOE. And you're doing, as I understand it, being exposed to everything from projects that highlight environmental sustainability, design, civic projects addressing our most pressing issues, homelessness, mobility, everything from the ADA curb ramps to the 6th Street Aqueduct to Taylor Yard. You are seeing really how to make this city work. Now, you're also getting to experience some unique things here. You saw public comment, which I'm sure is unique for a lot of you, and seeing the First Amendment being used. But we appreciate the fact that you're here, that you're learning about how the city works, that you're giving your skills to our city. We hope that you not only help the city with the work that you're doing, but that you learn something, and that many of you may come back and want to be part of the city after your internship. So thank you for being interns. I hope you enjoy your internship, and we wanted to publicly recognize you. So let's give the interns a big round of applause.
Well done.
Great. Thank you.
Well done. Good luck to you all. All right. Before I move on, let's vote on items number 1. Mr. Clerk, please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
And Mr. President, that matter is received and filed.
Now let's vote on items 2 through 6. Please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Now let's vote on items 28 through 33. Please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 eyes.
Okay, Mr. Koretz, are you ready with your presentation?
Come on over right behind me.
Colleagues, 73 years and a couple of days ago, on August 6, 1945, the United States dropped the first atomic bomb to be used in warfare on the Japanese city of Hiroshima. A few days later, on August 9th, the United States dropped the second and last atomic bomb to be used in warfare on the city of Nagasaki. The casualties and damage caused by both bombs were enormous. An estimated 200,000 people died instantly, and another many tens of thousands died from the after effects of the bomb, and cancers, and other illnesses relating to radiation exposure. Most of the dead were civilians. Hibakusha, those who survived the bombings, tell us about nearly unspeakable carnage, terror, loss, and destruction caused by those bombs. Los Angeles is home to many Hibakusha, several of whom are with us today. For over 70 years, they've been telling their stories over and over for one reason, so that no one else will ever have to experience the horrors they endured due to nuclear weapons. I'm pleased today to recognize the American Society of Hiroshima Nagasaki A-bomb survivors and all the Hibakusha who are working for a nuclear weapons-free world. For decades, you have worked for peace by telling your stories so that current and future generations truly understand the devastation caused by nuclear weapons. At the same time, you've helped provide moral and medical support to your fellow survivors, the only ones who can truly understand the pain and suffering you've endured. I want you to know that the City of Los Angeles shares your hope for world peace and the abolition of all nuclear weapons so that the nuclear horror you've experienced is never, ever repeated again. Now I'd like to introduce Junji Sarashina, hopefully I've pronounced that right, President of the American Society of Hiroshima Nagasaki A-bomb survivors, who will speak on behalf of that organization.
Now let's just give him a round of applause. We really appreciate you guys coming down. Thank you, sir.
My name is Junji Sarashina. I'm the president of the American Society of Hiroshima and Nagasaki Atomic Bomb Survivors. We have approximately 176 members in Southern California, mostly in Los Angeles County. We've been talking and teaching the college students and the young kids about the effect of the atomic bomb and the world peace. We thank you for awarding the commendation today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now, on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, I'd like to present this commendation to the American Society of Hiroshima Nagasaki A-bomb survivors.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, colleagues.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming down. Mr. Clerk, this vote to reconsider item 31. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 eyes.
Okay, I'd like to call up Dr. Jimmy Hara, Junji Sarashina, Edgar Lopez. Please come forward. Yes, sir.
Oh, they're going to speak to you? Okay.
I'm Dr. Jimmy Hara, here representing the Physicians with Social Responsibility of Los Angeles, and speaking on my behalf and on behalf of Dr. Robert Dodge, who's the president of LAPSR currently, and we both also serve on the board of the Nuclear Age Peace Foundation in Santa Barbara. And both organizations were members of ICAN, the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, which won the Nobel Peace Prize this past year. As a physician, basically, human survival really depends upon our never detonating another nuclear weapon on this planet. And the medical response to a nuclear detonation would not be possible, really, and so consequently, we want to prevent what we cannot cure. There are 122 nation states which signed the treaty, and likewise, the Council of Mayors also supported this resolution, and so I commend that this body also.
Thank you. Next speaker. Good. Yes, sir.
August 6, 1945. The sky was covered with the blue light. The atomic bomb exploded over the city of Hiroshima. 130,000 people disappeared. One scene I cannot forget is the little black bundle of a baby, and the mother was still hanging on to this little thing. Many people suffered radiation sickness. Today, 73 years later, some of the atomic bomb survivors are still suffering with cancer, leukemia, the radiation sickness. We must abolish the atomic and nuclear weapon so no one will ever use it again on human being. We must pursue the peace of world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Lopez.
Before I begin, I would like to thank Council Members Kuritz and Bonin for introducing this resolution. Good morning. My name is Edgar Lopez. I'm a student from Alliance Dr. Olga Moen High School, located here in downtown. I am a part of the Nuclear Free Schools Club at my school, and through it, I have obtained amazing opportunities to travel both locally and internationally. Through my travels, I have made friends with many kids from Japan, Russia, the Pacific Islands, and many more that seek a world without nuclear weapons. As addressed in the resolution, nuclear weapons threatens all of humanity, which is something that the youth worldwide has recognized. Kids from around the world have acted in their own respective countries at great extent to achieve a nuclear-free world through online applications, surveys, books, and so much more. They've acted to get influential cities like Los Angeles to act and get political leaders to listen, and this can be that time. I speak on behalf of all my friends around the world and urge you to side for the right side of history and take the bold and right step forward and pass this resolution. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think we've reached a time where the nuclear threat has been the greatest since the Cold War. We not only have growing international tensions, but we have countries trying to rebuild and increase their nuclear arsenals, and we have a hair-triggered tweeter in the White House that has threatened North Korea with fire and fury, and last month threatened Iran with consequences the like of which few throughout history have ever suffered. Even more dangerously, they are proposing the appropriate use of nuclear weapons as a first strike and trying to develop lower yield, supposedly nuclear weapons for this purpose, and that would be appropriate even in retaliation for non-nuclear actions of other countries. We need to withdraw the power given to the president to be the sole determiner of use of nuclear weapons. Also, we need to have the United States join the 122 nations that voted to adopt the UN Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. And we support a national grassroots campaign called Back from the Brink, which has been endorsed by cities across the country. And I'd like to thank Physicians for Social Responsibility, among others, for support for this and for bringing this to my attention. As we know, LA's voice is often listened to and will amplify this movement. So I urge you to help make history, to honor the survivors of the great tragedy in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and to protect current and future generations with an aye vote today. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, Mr. Corrett. And again, thank everyone for coming down. Okay, let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
That is approved. Okay. Let's move to Mr. Buscaino. We're going to move to item 26. I have a few cards on item 26, but I'm wondering if some of the people who are here today, you may have signed up in general public comment, but you meant to speak on item 26. So if that's the case, if you would let me know, I'll make sure that this is the appropriate time for you to speak. So on item 26, I want to start off with Regina Martinez, Jamie Bedolla. Is it Simi? Simi? And a Valerie. Valerie, last name begins with a C. So why don't we start off with those people? Do we have Regina? Regina, are you here? Come on. Simi, are you here? Valerie, are you here? Valerie, are you here? Please come up. Yes, go ahead. Identify yourself.
My name is Regina Martinez, and I'm very nervous, so please forgive me, and it is an honor to be here. Mr. Buscaino, I came here specifically to speak to you. Your community would like for you to meet with them, your community in Wilmington. There is a lot of information that we don't understand. We have requested and requested to speak with you. I know there's been a response by our Wilmington representative, but we did not elect him, we elected you. And we would like very much for you to reach out to your community members in Wilmington. I don't have anything else to say to the rest of the council. I specifically came here to let my councilman know he has about 1,000 people who would really, really, really just love for him to hold a town hall and clear up a lot of information or maybe misinformation. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Martinez, you did not sound nervous. Okay, you did, okay. Yes, sir, please identify yourself.
My name is Jaime Bedoya. I'm a resident of Wilmington for over 50 years. And Mr. Buscaino, we like to tell you that we're opposed to the Eubank site, and we really need to find out, how did you come up with that site? There was no input from the community, and we really, like Gina said, we would like you to meet with us in a town hall meeting, because we are really pissed, and our community does not want to take anymore. Take this dumping of homeless in our area, and I really think that you owe us, since you're our councilman, to meet with us and explain what really is going on. Because there is a lot of different sites that can be suitable for what you want to put in there. And this place is close to a baseball field where our children play and are close to the residential area. Thank you.
Next speaker. Yes, ma'am. Come identify yourself.
I'm not for sure if I'm in the right order. My name is Mrs. Seaman. I'm representing Citizens for a Better Wilmington, Wilmington Lives Matter, talking on the subject of homeless open policy there. I understand that there was a poll taken by the United Ways, and they said 40% of people were for the homeless. But when they were asked if it would be in your neighborhood, they kind of changed their mind. But anyway, to me, that's fuzzy math. They were taunting 40% as a big-ass deal, excuse my French. 60% means that the majority is against it. Okay, on that matter, I'm here today with 102,000 plus stakeholders signed petitions opposing the Eubank site as proposed in your proposal, Mr. Busciani. I'm submitting them today on record, 220, and to add to the 1,000 that we submitted on the committee meeting. What we do, what is our family any different than yours, Busciani? We elected you, we respectfully asked for a meeting for you, not your staff, and be a man like your councilman, Wasman, and meet with us, your constituents.
Thank you.
Thank you for thinking of the homeless and the money.
Ma'am, your time is up. Ma'am, your time is up. Next.
Hello, my name is Valerie Contreras, and I'm here with the Citizens for a Better Wilmington. I do advocate for my community every chance that I get. I would like a one-on-one meeting with Mr. Joe Buscaino. I have a lot to cover. The community of Wilmington has been impacted greatly by the homelessness, and it has not been positive. We have been dealing with this since the Olympics in 1984 when they dumped on us, and thus we have the third world. It took us 10 years to clean it up. We don't want it again. We kindly ask and let you know that we strongly oppose the Eubank site in Wilmington. We know these have to go someplace, but not there. We have a baseball field, and I know Eastview fought for theirs. We're fighting for ours. We have mixed zoning, residential and pollution, because we have mixed zoning that the city, will not grant us because we are connected to the Port of LA. Our community is in an uproar. In a few days, we had a town hall meeting of 400 people, 1,000 petitions. They're still coming in. Please remove that site from your...
Thank you. Thank you.
Proposed.
Where there... No, Mr. Spindler.
That's
your
right,
time,
Joe.
Your time is... No, Mr. Spindler. Mr. Spindler, your time is done. No, but you already spoke. Mr. Spindler, your time is done. Would you have him just take a seat? Now, are any of the other Wilmington... please don't disrupt. Any of the other Wilmington folk, did you sign up in general public comment by mistake? Ma'am, in the blue dress, please come forward. The one right behind you, come on, identify yourself. Yes.
Good morning. I'm Gail Fleury. I represent San Pedro Stands United. I would like to let you know that there is a federal law called the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act that was passed in 1987 by Ronald Reagan that allows homeless, and there's funding for it, it allows homeless on abandoned federal property, and there are several places that have been identified. One is near 5 Points. It's a Navy place on Gaffey Street, and there is another one on Terminal Island. Actually, there are two, and one of the ones on Terminal Island is actually an abandoned World War II airfield that was used by the WASPs to deliver airplanes, and it's just sitting there, empty, abandoned, and it could be used. There's also a commissary that could be used that is fully functional. It was scheduled for demolition in 2013 and was never demolished. So we do have options that are not in our city, in San Pedro proper or in Wilmington proper. The citizens object to both locations.
Next speaker. Thank you, ma'am. Please identify yourself.
My name is Helena Zuvich. I'm from Wilmington. I'm here to represent the children. I have a 3-year-old grandson that this would affect. I believe there are viable sites that we could use other than the Eubank site because it is contaminated with methane gas. Why are we going to put homeless people there? That's just going to cause another problem. I asked at our meeting, could we use Terminal Island as a viable space? We can set it up. We can have people there that could do triage and help these people when they have problems. They bring the prisoners from the federal prison there to the San Pedro site to have medical attention. Why can't the homeless also have that? We could put businesses there. We could make it more viable. There are things. I saw Mr. Buscaino yesterday in the site in Harbor Gateway. He got a photo op. He doesn't show up for any of our meetings. He sends his people. We have questions for him.
Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Adolfo Furman. I am from the business community in Wilmington. I represent myself, Chamber of Commerce, and also I oppose the 828 Eubank. Joe Buscaino, please show up to our meetings. And actually, I would have a proposal for District 1 to actually clean up their act here in LA, down 5th Street, San Pedro. I think it should start from home. Show the world an example of what you guys can do instead of dumping people elsewhere in other districts. So take care of your home first. Show the world what you can do. You have all the resources you have available. You have billions of trillions of dollars. I mean, LA is humongous, and I know there is a one-way solution, but please start here at home. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
My name is Lisa Traub, and I'm opposed to the Eubank. Please look at me when I'm speaking to you.
Just speak, ma'am.
I oppose to the Eubank site. My family's been on the same homestead in Wilmington since 1875. It's a good town. Wilmington has been used as the armpit of the harbor. We are the heart of the harbor. You need to come and speak to us. You work for us. This isn't going to happen. Wilmington now has a voice. Come and listen to us.
Next speaker. Identify.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. My name is Benita Robertson, and I'm a resident, fairly new resident of Wilmington. I have the opportunity to live in 10 different major U.S. cities because of my job. The situation in Wilmington is deplorable as far as the homeless situation goes. I would say to you, sir, would you like the homeless to be in your area in this type of situation? We are a community that has said each one, reach out and adopt some of the homeless yourself. I have always heard a lot of excuses. There is something I'd like to leave with you that I've learned throughout life, I've heard throughout my education. Excuses are tools for the incompetent, which build monuments of nothingness, and those who specialize in them are seldom good at anything else.
Okay, that concludes public comment on this item, Mr. Buscaino. I will defer to you, but I feel compelled to say something. I don't know if you want me to speak after you or before.
I appreciate the residents' concerns, appreciate your advocacy and your presence here. let's be reminded that this is 3 of 19 proposed sites throughout the city of Los Angeles, including one item that we just approved in South Los Angeles at item number 27 that was approved earlier as a proposed site for a bridge home. And as a chairman of the committee, Mr. Marquise Harris Johnson indicated during the committee, this is merely an assessment of these 3 sites. Once the mayor's office finds that these sites are feasible, just know that we will hold open houses at each of these 3 sites as indicated from my staff. Also, FAQ has been circulated within the community, has also been circulated on our social media networks. Amy and John Mark are here also to distribute these FAQ handout here, both in English and in Spanish. And to one of the residents' concerns about homeless situation is deplorable. Clearly, it's unexcusable that we have people today living on the streets, on our sidewalks, living in cars. We are a council under the direction of this president and also as the mayor. We are solution-driven because we cannot stand the ongoing deplorable conditions. The fact that 40,000 homeless people are living throughout this county, almost half of them in our city. We have to do something. We need to do something. All I ask is a community of Watts, Wilmington, and San Pedro to have an open heart and open mind moving forward on addressing, solving homelessness in the city of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now, whoa. When each and every one of you spoke, I made sure that it was quiet. So when we speak, we would expect the same thing in return. What Mr. Buscaino has said is that, in fact, let me put it this way. The city of Los Angeles is committed to try to address the homelessness problem that we're plagued with. There are sites throughout the city of LA that are in the evaluation phase. Once the city departments have evaluated these sites, what your councilman has indicated that he will do is have site hearings at each one of these locations where the people that live in those areas will be able to come in and give their opinion. I think that that's fair. And that would be your opportunity to speak with him directly. That would be your opportunity to ask every question and any question that you have. There's not a person on this horseshoe that is unaware of the issues that I have had in the district that I represent. But let me say this to each and every one of you. As long as there's communication, there is hope for a resolution. It would appear that in my district, we have come to a place that will bring all of us together. So as long as there's continuing dialogue between you, Mr. Buscaino, and others, and you look at things objectively, we're optimistic that we can find a place where the city can, the district can galvanize behind it. So again, just let me reinforce, this is for evaluation, and you have a commitment when the evaluations are over that there will be an opportunity for the public to speak. So if that's okay with you, Mr. Buscaino, let us prepare to vote on this issue. Please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay. All right, so we will see you at the future hearings as we discuss this site and sites throughout the city of Los Angeles. Okay, let's start with general public comment. Ms. Richardson, Pat Canedo, Ms. Jacqueline Richardson, come on down. Yes, Ms. Richardson. And then is there Gina Martinez? Yes.
This is in regard to black people in general. In order for us to continue making progress, we have to clean up our spirits, myself included. If we want to have better jobs, better housing, better schooling, better all-around conditions, we have to clean up. We have to clean up like former Mayor Bradley did when he was in office. He had, I believe, 20 years in public office before they made those changes. We also have to clean up like former Bernard Parks, who was police chief for a while. We have these excellent men in office. For us in general to keep our going upward, we have to clean up our spirits so we can be more like them.
Okay, now, okay, I see you in the back. Is that Miss Martinez in the back, the nervous one? You already spoke. They said I could do, because I did. You want to, you? And this one, they said I could do. Okay, let's see the next one. Yes.
Hi, my name is Patricia Cañedo, and I am a member of Wilmington. I've lived there for 54 years. We've had our fair share of pollution, refineries, the trucks, the trains, the ports, etc. We have been bombarded with everything that you can think of, crime. I mean, it's not that we don't have a heart, Mr. Buscaino, we're just tired of being dumped on. I am tired of being a member of a community where nobody cares about us. That's how I feel. I feel that everything is on Wilmington. All of a sudden you think about Wilmington when it's for bad, but what about it's for good? I haven't seen anything good in the 54 years that I've lived in. Okay? How would you like to wake up and find poop in your front lawn in a box? That's what I woke up to. People having sex in my backyard. How would you like to have that? You are all, you don't live there. You walk amongst the homeless, but you don't live with them. I do. You know how tired it is? Nobody cares about us. Nobody.
Thank you. Okay. Now you're not nervous, huh? You're a professional. Come on.
I'll try to be. So I understand the sites are being proposed, but one of the things that really concerns my community is when you go on the Safe Parking LA site, there is a map that LAPD is already giving out, telling the people who live in their vehicles and their motorhomes to come to my community. And when you look at, it's a map that's for my entire district. San Pedro has maybe 2 or 3 blocks. Harbor City has maybe 2 blocks. Harbor Gateway has maybe 1. Wilmington has, and it's there, it has at least 40, 50 blocks. We calculated it. It comes out in linear miles to about 25 miles. We're not proposed. You're sending them there. And that's the things that we're kind of concerned about. We're not being proposed. You are actually doing it right now. And if our information is incorrect, that's because the websites that you guys are putting out are incorrect. And you think about Mr. Buscaino's representative. He told us it was a court order for these things to go into our community, and they weren't.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's have a little order. Mr. Clerk, what is before this body?
Mr. President, that brings us to item number 7. It's an ordinance that was voted upon and adopted with 10 members. We should first reconsider the matter.
Okay, let's hold on that 1 second. Okay, no, sir, in the orange shirt. Give me your name and how did I miss your name? What
General
is your
public comment.
Yes. What would your? Did you?
Mike Greenspan.
Did you? You
Yes.
didn't?
I signed up.
Well, go ahead. I didn't see your name. I got you now. Go ahead.
Mike Greenspan with a new name, Chom Shim, for Herb Wesson's illegal mutt. That's Chom Shim. Should Mr. Herman sing? I have watched the council meetings on TV and have heard Mr. Herman sing. This singing voice will not win Mr. Herman a Grammy. Let us reserve the Grammys for Carmelita Pittman singing, "We Have No Sex in Our Marriage," not Mr. Herman. Mr. Wesson could present an award to Carmelita Pittman and her entourage. With the camera zooming in up close, Carmelita could sing, "We Have No Sex in Our Marriage." Mr. Herman will not receive any singing awards or presentations. So let Mr. Herman sing, but give the Grammy to Carmelita Pittman for "We Have No Sex in Our Marriage." What's really atrocious is a dude in a dress. Oops, that's Tommy Trojan. Sources, Luis Dorfman on Carmelita Pittman, Daniel Gus on Herb Wesson's illegal mutt.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, now, you were speaking of, Mr. Clerk, item 7,
Yes, sir.
vote on reconsideration.
That is correct.
Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
That matters now before you, sir.
Now let's vote on the actual item. Let's open up the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay, so that brings us where, Mr. Clerk?
Mr. President, I believe that leaves item 23, called special for Councilmember Krikorian.
It's my understanding, Mr. Krikorian, the amendment has been circulated, or
Yes, sir. Amending motion has been circulated.
so we can just
We
vote
can
on
vote
that?
on it as amended.
Okay, on that item, let's vote on 23 as amended. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, now where does that bring us?
Council has motions for posting and referral.
They are posted, they are referred.
The desk is clear.
Announcements, if everybody could rise. Mr. Blumenfield for an announcement?
Yeah, I wanted to. I've got two interns here. I wanted to quickly recognize that are from my office. Healy Cho from UCSD and Henry Santiago, UC Riverside, graduating in 2018. They've been doing a great job in my district office. I just wanted to recognize them.
Give them a round of applause.
All
Thank
right.
you,
Thanks,
young
guys.
people, for your service. Okay, if we could rise for adjourning motions, I'm going to recognize Ms. Martinez, and then I have one that I'll do myself. Ms. Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wish to rise today to commemorate and honor the life of Officer Gregory Park, who was tragically killed in the line of duty on July 27th. With his passing, the Department of Transportation and the entire city family suffered a tragic loss of one of our very own. Officer Park was killed while performing his regular parking enforcement duties on the location in the San Fernando Valley. Officer Park was an outstanding officer and well-liked by everyone who knew him. He joined the city in the Department of Transportation on June 12, 2006. After many years in the Western Area Office, he was most recently assigned to the Valley Area Office. He was well known for his diligence of his duties, his consideration of his colleagues, and for all those who knew him and came in contact with him as well. He exemplified the best of our parking enforcement division. Officer Park was born in South Korea in 1972 and came to this country in 1978 with his family to the state of Minnesota. He graduated from the University of Minnesota in 1995 and served in the United States Navy for 4 years from 2001 to 2004. He is survived by his loving parents, Sun and Song Park, by his 3 sisters, Eun Young, Jane Young, and Rachel Park, as well as many extended family members, including his nephews and cousins. He is also survived by his city family, including the fellow LADOT officers who hold within their ranks a very special bond of mutual support and respect. LADOT and LAPD are actively supporting Officer Parks' family in this time of need. All will miss him greatly. Officer Park is the second parking enforcement officer killed in the line of duty. This must remind all of us of the risks that our dedicated and brave parking enforcement professionals assume every day in doing the work for the city. This tragic loss of life should serve to deepen our appreciation and respect for those dedicated individuals who daily provide us with a better city. We will hold his memory in love and honor. We extend our sincere and heartfelt condolences to the Park family, and we trust and pray that he rest in peace. We adjourn today in his honor. I ask for all members to be included. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rodriguez and then Mr. Rue.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. Martinez, thank you for that beautiful adjourning motion. And to the city family, I know this has been an incredibly difficult loss, and I want to say to Mr. Park's family my deepest and heartfelt condolences. No parent should ever have to outlive the life of their child, and so my deepest and sincerest condolences on your loss.
Mr. Root.
Thank you. And I'd like to also rise in the honor of Mr. Park and all of our Los Angeles Department of Transportation officers. You know, many people know how dangerous it is to serve as a firefighter or a police officer. But the Los Angeles Department of Transportation officers who serve our city every day do an incredible and often dangerous work without asking for praise or thanks. It's clear from all that we've heard that Gary was a great guy, and he was certainly a great traffic officer who served the Valley communities with pride. My thoughts are with the family and the entire department. 그리고 어머니, 아버지, 우리 가족들 너무 감사합니다. 죄송하고 so sorry for your loss. 감사합니다.
Thank you. That was well done. We have a few more adjourning motions, and members, I will call on you in a second. But I want to do this one while I'm able to do this. I submitted this last week, but at the request of my wife, I told her I would not speak to it until today. Last week, my wife's brother died, stunned the entire family. His name was Harrison Richard Jenkins. Born in Detroit, Michigan, growing up on the streets, they called him El Jinko. He looked like a cat. Mr. Jenkins, in fact, you know, you can't choose your family and you can't choose your in-laws, and we've all heard terrible stories sometimes about certain in-laws, but if I was given the ability to go out and find a sister-in-law, and a brother-in-law, I would not have done better than these two people. My brother-in-law, he didn't just serve, and this is what I wanted to say to Mr. Herman, he didn't just serve in the Vietnam War. He fought in the Vietnam War. He actually held a rifle in his hand and shot at other human beings. It created a sickness within him, a traumatic stress sickness that almost killed him. For years, I would get phone calls at 4 in the morning because it's a 3-hour difference, so he'd call at 4 o'clock his time, and I would be the only person that he could talk to, and he talked about the sights, the sounds, and the smell of war. I have to give a shout out to his job, General Motors. I have to give a shout out to his union, the United Auto Workers, because they never gave up on him, and they worked so hard to give him such a benefit package that whenever he had an episode, they'd send him to counseling. Wouldn't work. He'd have another episode or a problem, they sent him to counseling, and it didn't work. For years. But because of the benefits that he had, he went to one counselor, and that counselor pushed that right button within him, and a metamorphosis occurred. And he traveled this country learning how to become a counselor himself. Many of you met him seated to my right. He became an expert in how to help people with stress disorders and with substance abuse in their marriages, and just how to survive the day. So, yes, he served this country. He fought in the Vietnam War, but he served this country basically every day of his life, at least for the past 27 years. And I want to rise and to adjourn in the memory of, I'm not, let it. But see, what I want to do is maybe one day there will be a counselor that can push the button and help that very sick, disturbed person. And that's what I think we need to always strive for. Now, you all know, because we've all experienced it, when somebody that we love passes away, we're very busy. We're putting together funeral arrangements. We're doing obituaries, putting a program together. We're having family that comes in from other parts of the city. We're making sure they have a place to stay, making sure that they have food, making sure they have rides to get to where they need to get. And when that happens, you kind of do okay. You can talk to your family, and they give you strength. Well, that period at the time is over for my wife, and it's over for her sister. I usually talk to my wife once a day. Here it is, 11:20. I've already had 7 communications with her. This is her first day at work, and she's not doing well. So I'm asking you, all of my friends, to send her a pleasant thought, her and her sister, to send her a prayer, as now she's dealing with the very, very difficult part of losing a brother who was always there to protect her and her sister, who would have bent over backwards to give them anything that they needed. So it is with great pride that I rise to adjourn in the memory of a damn good man and the best brother-in-law that anybody could ever have. He used to call me brother-in-law. And I remember once, I'll just tell you this and I'll turn it over. There was a newspaper article, I think it was Alice Walton, she was with the Times, and she said, yeah, and Wesson sometimes wears these colorful, outlandish suits. She ain't meet my brother-in-law. Because if I would have went before him, he would have had on a hot pink suit with gray stripes and a big hat with a feather on it. So to my brother-in-law, Harity, thank you for being the greatest brother-in-law on earth. Mr. Buscaino.
Thank you. It's a great tribute. Our condolences, and Tife, our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. Colleagues, the San Pedro community suffered a traumatic loss, tragic death in a 16-year-old Maddie Matich, who passed away on July 26, born May 5th, 2002. I had the honor and the blessing to coach Maddie in Little League during his T-ball years. He'll forever be missed. He was the lives of his family, made a lasting impact in his time with folks that he surrounded himself with, a true young waterman. In fact, I recall the times that when we had opening day at the Cabrillo Beach Yacht Club, there was Maddie just fired up, excited to get out in the boat and sail away. He was a fearless champion sailor with adventurous spirit and dynamic, enthusiastic personality, winning countless friends and trophies at regattas up and down the West Coast, from the Great Lakes, Florida, and especially in San Pedro. When he was not in the water, you'll find Maddie on his skateboard in and around the San Pedro community. He is survived by his loving mother and father Shirley and Mike Matich, his loving grandmother Dorothy Matich, uncles Matt Matich and Paul Strasser, aunts Virginia Mason and Patty Colin, many cousins and dear friends. As we speak, Maddie's being laid to rest right now at the Green Hills Memorial Cemetery. So I ask that you keep Maddie and his family and friends in your thoughts and prayers. He would truly be missed. Maddie Matich, may he rest in peace. Thank you.
Okay, any other adjourning motions? Then members, this meeting's adjourned.